What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. Today we're going to do something that I always love to do on the channel, and that is going to be breaking down a guide for Astranyx the Dark Fae, who is the final boss in Rotation 3 of the Doom Tower. But every single time that I do these videos, I always love to do it with a twist where I create some really cool compositions that you may not have seen before, and also just the synergies of these champions that I'm going to be utilizing. Like, we're going to be doing teams without a lore. I'm going to be showcasing my brand new team as well, implementing Whisper, and then also a no legendary team as well, just for you guys, which I stayed up until late last night trying to come up with these teams, but definitely always a blast trying to come up with these compositions. Also guys, before we get into this video, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to you guys as well for simply always being there and watching my videos, engaging with them, liking, subscribing. You guys are absolutely amazing and the reason why I can do this every single day. So I just wanted to share a bit of appreciation and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thanks a lot guys for all of the support over the past years. Absolute legends. So alright, without further ado, Astranyx the Dark Fae, I always like to break down the kit for anybody that hasn't seen my previous videos before, where I've done this multiple times now. So basically, Astranyx the Dark Fae, what does she do? So once you come up against the boss, she's going to spawn a mirror copy of your team, with all of the stats, everything that you basically built on your champions, you're going to have to be facing. Now, there is one upside to this because although that is going to be the same speeds and all of that good stuff on those mirror copies, you would in fact will have the upper hand and go first. So if you start implementing turn meter manipulation, speed manipulation, or simply speed boosting into your nuker to kill your mirror copies, you're definitely going to be able to do so once you speed tune your composition. And basically that is all written here in the boss guide with the Fae mirror passive, where she places that perfect veil on herself and then spawns those mirror copies. And then also there's a Dark Fae energy counter where if it reaches 5 over the course of a battle, she's going to go through and do this again. So you want to make sure that we've got full turn meter control to keep that boss down. Now, she's then going to lead into banishing one enemy champion and then will spawn a mirror copy of them onto her team. And this will be, if you allow her to take a turn, she's going to take one of your champions and then boom. Right beside them, you're going to have someone else to kill once again. Now, the one upside is you can actually determine who this is going to be, as she's going to steal the champion with the highest attack in your composition. So for an example, if my Whisper has the highest attack, and she might even be the slowest in my team, I might have an easier time killing her than I would maybe in a lore, because I'm traditionally building her in high speed, high accuracy, and then she's just going to come through and crowd control ourselves, right? And we don't really want that. So determining who your mirror copy spawn's going to be with the Dark Abduction is definitely very viable for consistency here. Now with the Fairy Storm, she will attack all enemies and all living allies will team up to join this attack, which is devastating. And damage increases by 25% for each living ally. So once again, guys, just comes into effect with basically kill the mirror copies, guys. Now with the Dark Tendrils, there's a lot of like affinity sways going on here because she will steal one random buff from each enemy according to the number of magic champions on the enemy team, which will be one buff for each magic champion. Which I actually don't use a ton of buffs in my compositions, but for anybody that does, just something to be wary of depending on magic champions. She would then lead in and steal the turn meters of each enemy according to the number of force champions on the enemy team, which will be 10% for each force champion. There's also a 25% chance of applying a true fear, which is a nasty time. There's that chance for you to not only miss your turn, but also lose your cooldowns of the skill that you was trying to use. And the chance will increase by 25% for each void champion on the enemy team. And then will also heal herself by 10% of her max HP for each spirit champion. So it's very quirky in the ways that this works, and there's not really any other bosses that works to this kind of realm, right? So pretty quirky, pretty fun, but we're going to be countering all of this, so we don't have to really worry about the Dark Tendril skill. Now the A1 is basically pretty basic. It's got a leech debuff that can be placed on ourselves, but this is going to allow it to heal by 18% of the damage inflicted, and hypothetically, if you've got leech everywhere, she's going to be healing by a substantial amount, so trying to mitigate as much of this as possible will be very viable. So yeah, that's basically all of the fundamentals, guys, and also just be wary that the persistence passive will reduce turn meter decrease effects by 50% when used against this boss. So just something to consider if you feel like, oh, what's going on here? Why is it not reducing that amount? It's basically the passive very similar to other bosses in this game. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into the teams, and this is the one that I built for myself. And I've really been enjoying it. I did promise you guys that we're going to show Whisper against the Dark Fae. And I'm also really excited because it's the first time that a Newt can actually face the Dark Fae as well, and he absolutely shreds. Of course, there's champions like a Krizier out there that do a phenomenal job and other max HP options, but when you talk about raw one active skill potential, the amount of damage that comes out from this is next to none, guys, which hopefully should blow you away. And also, just before we get in here as well, it's worth noting that we're on the hardest stage of the Doom Tower, being 120 of the hard, right? And if we just pull up this page on hellhades.com, which is the Raid Shadow Legends stages tool, we can effectively choose any stage that you're hitting to get the optimal stats that you're going to be facing here. So Astranyx, so we're going to be looking for around 350 plus accuracy to be able to place our debuffs or make full use of our turn meter decrease effects. And also there's 250 speed, so you know, sometimes I sit around 240, 230 because I've got so much turn meter fills, and we're also applying decreased speed on the boss. So if you've got speed manipulation, you could potentially drop that down a little bit on some of your champions. But in the grand scheme of things, you want to be getting as close to this number as you can, right? Pretty much. But I will be showing all of my gears and stats and masteries towards the end of these runs as well, throughout all the teams that I demonstrate. So let's go. Let's go into team number 1. I'm excited to show this to you guys. It took a little bit of a while to get like the optimal tune that I wanted, because with Whisper, right, she basically gets like extra turn mechanics depending if the champion is under decreased defense and weaken with the A3 skill. And basically Newt is coming in and opening up with that weaken to coincide with the drop defense of a Law or our Royal Guard. So I love that synergy there between the champions. And of course, if you don't want to use Whisper, you could just swap her out, guys. It's not a big issue. It's just been something that I've been looking forward to using personally. But if you're struggling to keep that turn meter down, just swap her out for like a Coldheart, right? Or someone else that does turn meter reduction effects. There's plenty in the game. So as you see here, banishes all of our champions. We're like, what on earth is going on here? This is tedious, right? Basically, once we kill our mirror copies and gain the control, because as you see here, although that is the same stats and stuff, we still get to have the upper hand here. If she does manage to take a turn, like I mentioned prior, we'll then steal one of your champions, who will be my Whisper, who has the highest attack in my team. And then she'll do the AoE attack, followed by the Dark Tendrils with all of the buff mechanics, like I mentioned prior, followed by the Leech as well. So let's just go into full auto. So we've reduced their turn meter. We've done a bit of nukes as well. We've got some counterattacks on Whisper, which is unfortunate. Basically comes down to the ways that I built her, right? Come through with an AoE from Newts. We're going to open up with an A1 of our Whisper with my presets. Exhaustion, decrease speed, drop everything down. Bless Bash comes through. And look at that crazy damage, guys. Look at that crazy damage. And now Whisper's going to pop off. 281,000, and we don't even have the big version of decreased defense active yet. Now we do, because of the Royal Guards A1. And here we go. Extra turn. Extra turn. That's just 100,000 off our A1, guys. Let's see if we can cycle a skill again. So, boom. We'll go into this run one more time to try and get a most accurate speed. But here we go. Here comes the big nuke. 325,000. I have seen as high as around 400,000 against the Dark Fae. But as you see here, almost on par with Newt, guys. Well, she did better than Newt in this one. But that comes down to my Newt doesn't have reflex. So, you know, there is a bit of changes there. So we're just coming in for the round 2, guys. Whisper is popping off and killing off this wave. And I actually had to increase the speed of my Allure because I remembered that I toned it down a notch for another composition I was playing with yesterday. So right now, we should see that Allure will be opening up with that drop defense before our Royal Guard actually takes a turn here. So we've got a bit of drop defense on. Boom. We're going to open up with the A1 from Whisper. Exhaustion comes out and we'll be following the exact same cycle, guys. So yeah, you want to make sure that your Allure has a bit more extra speed. I didn't notice it in the first run because I forgot that I changed the gear, right? But here we go. 256,000 damage. Let's try and get that bigger variation of decreased defense coming out from Royal Guards. Drop the turn meter with Newts. And we get some extra turns. Oh, here we go. 2 extra turns there. Pretty nice. Drop that turn meter. Let's go, Newts. Keep that down. We need Whisper to come through again. Here we go, guys. Big nukes. 279,000 damage. And boom. So this one went a lot more smooth and we actually got my best time of 1 minute and 39 seconds now that we optimized the Law with the drop defense to go beforehand. So pretty cool. right? And once again, Whisper popping out more damage than Newt in this team, which is pretty crazy, right? But a lot of that does come down to the waves as well. She's kind of like working as my wave clearing champion throughout this team. So in terms of the presets for this one, before we move into the next team, with Lissandra, we're opening with Energize on round 1, then we're blocking off all skills on round 2, and then we're opening with Energize, but first priority on Exhaustion on wave 3. And she's going the fastest at 261 speed, but once again, we'll break down all the stats later on more in detail. But if anybody doesn't want to stay tuned that long. Allure opener here, round 2, we can open it and block it off. And then round 3, we're blocking off this, opening with this just to crowd control and place a bit of decreased defense. And then basically all just the psychic whip after that for turn meter control, going at 253. But in my previous teams, before I upped the speed up, it was at 247. Whisper, whatever she wants to do throughout the entirety of the battle, doesn't really matter. But we just want to open up with a softening drive, just in case one of our mirror copies survive, and we don't waste one of our active skills against the mobs. So that's just something that I found for consistency, right? And she's going at 228 speed that I've tuned for my Phantom Shoguns team. We don't really need accuracy on her, unless you really want to for progression, but just trying to focus on the damage values here. Royal Guard opener on takedown, we're locking it all off on round 2, and then we've got an opener on the takedown, and then a first priority on hamstring, which is the turn meter depletion and decreased speed at 249 speed. Which it doesn't have to be that fast. You can turn it down a notch depending on the kind of synergies you have. And then Newt is going to be whatever he wants on round 1, blocking all off on round 2, opener with Fury of the King and blocking it off, and then a first priority on the Blessed Bash, which is very cool here at 242 speed, once again for my Phantom Shoguns team. So it's really cool that I can bring them into Dark Fae with the same build that I'm using elsewhere. So alright guys, for team number 2, we're going to be demonstrating a full epic composition implementing 0 legendaries, and it's going to be using Deacon Armstrong in replacement of our Lissandra from the previous run that we showed to play the role of the turn meter depletion and also the leech in case we take a smack. And then on top of that has got that decreased defense to open up the opportunity for Thylia to come through and shred our mirror copies. And it's actually really cool that we've implemented her for the first time on the channel because she's got a phenomenal kit to face the Dark Fae. And we've also got Whisper once again, but you can simply change this out for a Coldheart if you want, or a Royal Guard. It's really down to your preference, but I feel like we've got enough turn meter depletion to get good control over the boss here, right? And also see some nice single target damage. We've also got a Allure once again for that turn meter depletion, but at the same time, you could use someone like a Newt to play this role, or other ones that you may have on your account. We've got Ruella, decreased speed, weaken, decreased defense, you name it, she brings it all to the table, but she also has a turn meter fill effect with crit rate to just keep us in the battle. So we've basically got like a double turn meter fill team in this composition. Now, if we just swiftly move into the team preset, just to see how we set this up here. We've got Deacon Armstrong at 248 speed, but we've got the speed aura as well, so we can go above that 250 speed of the boss for that initial starting phase. Presets, we're locking off everything on round 2, and then we've got a first priority on the time compression and a second priority on the sweeping retribution. With Ruella, we have got an opener, we're blocking everything off, and then we're opening with the no respite to get that decreased speed active as soon as possible, going at 224 speed. Whisper, whatever you like, but I have blocked it off on round 2 to open up with the softening drive just in case one of those targets survive from the Thylia smack, but you know, it's down to your preference. You can just open up with anything you like here. Not really going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. Thylia, we're basically locking off everything after round 2. Well, the A3 anyway, because we want to have everything active, right? It's including, so we're opening with this one, right? And then we're going to be leading into the Crushing Eternity to fully deplete the target's turn meter. So in essence, we kind of want to turn this off on round 2 so we can have it active 100% against the boss. Allure, very similar. We're just blocking off the temptations and we're locking off everything apart from Psychic Whip against the boss. Now, there is some instances you could open with this, but I do want to see the smack off Thylia, but for consistency, I would kind of recommend keeping this active at least for an opener, right? But we're going to leave it off just for now. So without further ado, let's head straight into this run, and there's also something I want to touch up on, guys, which is going to be the Boon Chant passive of Miss Thylia herself, which is phenomenal. Like, it increases the attack, increases the crit damage, right? As you see here, and it has a duration of 1 turn. Now, one thing that I found a little bit weird, right, is basically after she takes a turn, she still has the increased attack and increased crit damage active, which I didn't completely understand. I thought it'd fall off, right, because it's a 1 turn duration, and then go back straight up because it's a 0-turn cooldown, which is what makes her so amazing for her damage output. But the reason why I say to just pay note to it is because we've got our Whisper as our tank for the banished champion, right? Being the highest attack in our team. Now, if she has the increased attack, which isn't falling off after her attacks, she's now going to be the next in line, right? The boss is going to be going for her instead because now she has the highest attack with that increased attack buff. So, not a big deal, but just something to pay note to. Just make sure you've got other champions to kill her off if that's a strategy that you're focusing on. As in this team today, we've got no increased speed, guys. We're basically focusing on increased turn meter effects and decreased speed effects to play to the advantage of the boss. And we will be having a champion getting banished, who most of the time is going to be our failure here. So we're going to be opening up with that turn meter and also the decreased defense, of course. Placing some turn meter reduction and boom with the boon chant. Ooh, we took a bit of a smack from the retaliation of our Whisper there. Do some decreased speed. She gets stolen. So now we're going to get her back. So there we go. Like I said, guys, we just need like one champion to be able to play that role. And then what we want to do here is get a leech on. We want to get a leech on from Mr. Deacon Armstrong, so our champions that do take some damage can actually heal back up. So there we go. We've got some leech. Boon chant comes back in and we're starting to heal back up with our failure here. And what this is going to allow you to do is actually survive the onslaught of some of the boss's attacks. So let's get a nice little nuke here. There we go. We're healing up a little bit here. We need to War Master procs, and that'll kind of play to our advantage. 278,000 damage, and she doesn't want to stop. She keeps going. So boom. We took some damage there. You see that, guys? If we didn't have that heal, we could have been in a bad situation. So weakens, time offensive. And this one here should be like the end of the battle now. There we go. We needed a heal like that pretty much. And she's straight back up to full. And we should be able to survive another onslaught if needed be. But from over the course of the battles that I played so far, we pretty much win from here. So we get one banished champion, one smack, and straight back into the fight. All right, here we go. Let's just keep this consistent. To be fair, like after I open up with the no respite of Ruella, now that I'm seeing it, I'm actually going to do this for the next run. It's basically only focus on our A1 and A2. Because right there, we don't really need it, right, in a sense. Because such a long duration. But here we go. We're going to come back in. We actually took an extra smack there. So, boom. Taking some more damage. Hopefully the next one goes a bit smoother. I've seen a lot smoother than this in this run, but I feel like it's important to see how something can go in a more budget-orientated team. All right, coming with the extra turn, and boom. So 3 minutes, right? And we did do some 1 turns, or ×1 speed in a sense. So all right, guys, I've actually decided to put a Coldheart into the mix. I feel like she's going to be very powerful for this team. For consistency, right? Like, obviously, not everybody's going to want to use a Whisper. You just want to have that boss's turn meter down as much as possible. And someone like Coldheart is at that caliber to do so, right? With that Heartseeker ability, max HP nukes, and really going to speed up the run for us here, right? So let's keep the cycling here. We're going to be opening with that turn meter depletion once again. Decrease defense. We're going to do some turn meter depletion there as well. Come through the boon chant. We're going to be placing that decreased speed. Max HP nukes coming through. More turn meter depletion. Placing that leech debuff so we can heal. And then there we go, guys. We're going to be in a good rhythm to keep this boss under control. Now, it's worth noting once again, we don't have increased speed in this composition. So there will be pockets where someone like Failure is going to be taken, right? As our banished champion. Like so. But we're going to be getting her back now with some good RNG. There we go. Just keep that down. There we go. Got her right back into the fights. Heartseekers again. Placing more leech. We're going to be healing as well. And, you know, pretty self-sailing team here, right? We've actually decided to turn back on the decreased speed for this one like we took off in the previous run. Because if you're banking on a strategy where the boss is taking multiple turns, I felt like it's very important to basically have this back into the fight here. Here we go. A couple more Heartseekers, a few more damage, and we'll be well on our way to victory. Let's keep that down. Commoner Law, Psychic Whip the boss. Boom, boom, boom. Heartseekers. This one's going a lot better, right? I believe the last one was 3 minutes and something, and it was a lot more dicey in the sense of consistency. But something like this, I'll be more comfortable with. Like, maybe if you get like super bad RNG and all of the true fears procs at the same time, and then your champion like Filia comes through and nukes you back. Obviously, it could go downhill, but in the grand scheme of things, as long as you got someone to basically control her a little bit and deal some damage, like you've seen there, like we managed to get her back pretty simply there, right? So boom, boom, boom. Taking some damage. We still managed to survive. Why? Because we have the leech debuff active, guys. We're healing back up. And boom. Couple more attacks and it should be finished. And there we go. So 2 minutes 52 seconds. So sitting just below the other one. But I feel like this one's, I'd feel a lot more happier playing with this one on a daily basis. Now, for the final team, guys, we're actually going to show the presets first, and it goes as so. So we've got a Siege Hulk in the mix, one of my favorite champions for the Dark Fae, to play the role of a Filia. Lysandra in the team, so it's like a semi-endgame team, but we've also implemented epics. Same kind of deal, guys. Like we showed before. First priority, Filia for the nukes. I'm knocking the skills off. Siege Hulk, we want to open with this, but we don't want to use it against here because we've got 2 clearing champions here. One for the waves and one for the boss itself. And then newts. We're locking off the skills and focusing on the boss itself. So let's go into this one. I'll say that this is probably my favorite team. It's pretty insane. Like, when you see it, guys, it'll blow your mind. So basically, first wave, we're going to come through Filia, boon, kill them, right? Round 2, we're going to actually alternate with Siege Hulk's A2 to kill the rest. So we can save all of the skills of our other champions, which is actually very optimal. So boom. You know, putting that decreased defense out there and could do a phenomenal job. And you can also use him as your wave clearer as well once you come up against the boss itself. Basically down to your preference, right? And then here, watch this, guys. So energize. So it's like double turn meter, right? With the Lysandra as well. Boon chant, kill everybody. Weaken up there. And boom, decrease speed as well. Exhaustion, and we're going to be well in our way for victory here. Now, unfortunately, we did get resisted from that weekend, which is unfortunate. Maybe we could try it one more time. But I would say that this is one of my most consistent teams that I've ever made. I have not had any issues with this over the past, since I've been trying it pretty much. I did around 7 runs yesterday. No fails whatsoever. Didn't even come close. Here we go. We're just going to kill that now with our newts. Got the decreased defense. We'll place a leech on her. Why not? Take her out. There we go. Back into the fight. Energize. Take some damage. Decrease defense. Bless bash. Boom, boom, boom. Take them down. Soul Reap comes out and 1 minute and 30 seconds, guys. Another record for my account. 1 minute 30. So maybe I should be using this as my next main team. It's pretty insane, right? It's pretty insane. Hopefully we can get the weekend on this time. Try it one more time, right? Why not? Here we go. Round 2. Going through the boon chants. Going through the AoEs with the Siege Hulk, decreased defense, makes everything so much easier, and also some good damage coming out from that, right? So this is where the best times are coming from for me, because we're not spending so much time killing the waves, right? So here we go. Decreased defense. Boon chant, kill everybody. Fury of the King, there's the weaken this time, perfect. Decreased speed goes life. There we go. Just kill them back, get them back again. Decrease turn meter and straight back into the rhythm. Turn meter depletion. There's some smites. And it's nice because there's actually some turn meter depletion coming out from Siege Hulk's A1 as well. And maybe I think I've got my presets a little bit wrong with Lysandra. Maybe I shouldn't be using it on wave 2. I believe that she used it once, right? And once we start popping off now, let's wait for one more newts. One more newt and we'll be well on our way to victory here, guys. Can we get a better one than we just seen? You never know. Here we go. Bless bash. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty insane. Exhaustion. Increase turn meter. Let's keep that down. Oh, so we didn't get as good of a time with this one. Which is fine. It's fine. It's probably like the ones that I've seen before. I've seen around 1 minute 50 as kind of as an average. I got pretty surprised by that 130 there. Here we go. Take some damage, no problems. The smite helps out pretty well as well, so if the boss does use an active skill, you can see where it comes to fruition and really puts in the work. Nice. We just need one more Blessed Bash, please. There we go. Just under 2 minutes, guys. So, you know, consistent and effective. Consistent and effective. Alright guys, so in terms of the ways that I built these champions today, this is my main account as well, so I put millions of silver in today's video, building up all of these quirky champions. Perception is something that I feel is phenomenal, right? We got accuracy plus 40, speed plus 5%, everything that we pretty much want, right? Overall stats, 100% crit rate, 224 speed, and enough accuracy just to make the build. Masteries, we've gone down to the Giant Slayer, and then we've also gone, I'll leave myself in the middle for now, and also the support tree as well to extend the value of our Master Hexer and also the Lure of Steel. Allure is basically in perception and speed. She's going at 247, but obviously in the first run she was a little bit faster, so once again comes down to the team that you're using. And of course 100% crit rate is something that you want. We're a little bit low on this one, unfortunately. Maybe it's because I changed the speeds, but obviously you want 100% crit rate, guys, so make sure you're focusing on that. And Masteries, very similar, guys, to the first one that I showed, right, with the Ruella. Finally, we've gone for Perception and Immortal and just stats over sets. I actually pulled this piece yesterday and posted it in my community page. And for anybody that was kind of wondering what kind of ascension did I get, I got Resistance, guys. I posted the picture and someone said, don't jinx it, and I jinxed it. I got Resistance, which is okay, but it's probably one of the best rolls I've ever had in 4 years of playing this game. Now look at that. On a mythical roll, on a mythical piece, quad roll is basically a chest plate. Basically a chest plate. But yeah, she's going at, so let me move myself down, I'm floating like Casper the Friendly Ghost. We've got enough accuracy, we've got 226 speed on this one, almost 100% crit rate, and then also some crit damage. But we've got an increased crit rate from our other champion, right, with Ruella. Masteries, we're going down to War Master and also the support tree. Deacon Armstrong, we're going at 248 speed, as much crit rate and crit damage as possible, and also enough accuracy. Very similar to how you'd build him for like a arena encounter, right? Masteries, offense tree, and the defense tree for some counterattacks. Of course, you can go support tree if you wish so, right? Coldheart, nothing crazy. She's going at 196 speed, slowest of the bunch. Definitely up this if you wish. I'm just trying to get the accuracy stats as well. And the Masteries, we're going for Helm Smasher on this one, and the support tree, but I've got another build as well, which is basically Giant Slayer. Whisper, she is in my build for the Shogun's Grove at 228 speed. No accuracy, just the damage stats that we need. Masteries, offense and defense tree once again, with the counterattacks. Lysandra, full perception build. 261 speed, of course. We want a super fast and high accuracy. And the Masteries, offense, and the support tree with the War Master. Soul Reaper is very good as well, guys. If you've got a high star blessing, you know you can slow down some of your runs, or speed them up, should I say. New, I changed just for this video in some perception, usually in a reflex for the Hydra boss. Simple reason being, I need the speeds and I also needed the accuracy, and it's pretty hard to do that in a reflex build. So there we go, 242 speed. Masteries, Giant Slayer, and the support tree. And Siege Hulk is in a lethal gear, just optimizing damage, speed, and enough accuracy to place our debuffs, while it's also focusing on some crit damage. Masteries, Helm Smasher, and support tree. And yeah, that was pretty much everyone that I used today, guys. But once again, like, do you need to use these champions? Absolutely not. I have got so many designated videos, which I will leave some in the description below, showcasing other teams and speaking about the best champions in the game. So I've already made dedicated videos on those kind of teams or videos, right? So definitely check those out if you want to see all of the best options. But I just wanted to touch on like champions such as Lady Kimmy, right? She brings in increased speed, increased accuracy, turn meter fills. So if you're struggling to reach those accuracy thresholds, she comes in and basically says, don't worry, I'll put that up for your team. So really cool to bring in someone like her. We've also decreased accuracy as well, and decreased speed and turn meter depletions with a nice speed aura by 30%. So Lady Kimmy, phenomenal champion. You can also use, like, there's just so many Royal Guards and like you name it. If the fundamentals you're looking for basically is speed auras. You want turn meter depletion, turn meter increase, increased speed, and also damage, and someone to kill your mirror copies. And that's basically the fundamentals that you'd be looking for from your team, right? Like Growhawk the Bloody, prime example. Unbound Anger. Fills his champion's turn meter from the AoE. Go into Lord of War with a weaken, and also a decreased speed. phenomenal synergy. We've got champions such as Hernding, right? You could basically open up with this, extra turns, kill the mirror copies, terminated depletions. Really, really top tier champion that you could be using, or maybe even a Crizia, right? Like, so many options out there, but yeah. On that note, guys, hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Depending when you watch this, we've got the CC competition for the faction games over on Deadwood Jedi's YouTube channel, which I'm teaming up with some new content creators, which I've not really collabed with before, but really excited to do so. And, you know, swing by, have some fun with some community events, and yeah, have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in a video soon. Peace.